To avoid being hit on, I deliberately created an ugly character in the game. Because of that, for a whole year, no one of the opposite gender ever approached me. Then she appeared. She didn't seem to mind my ugly face. She not only played and leveled up with me, but also had us wear matching love bond outfits and even created a guild together. I thought she was different from other people, that she didn't judge by appearance. So when I found out that my gaming partner of 3 years was actually my boss, I gathered my courage and decided to meet her in person. But before I could even say I wanted to meet, she, my boss, removed me from my position as the guild's vice leader. Confused, I asked her why. "You're just a healer," she said, her voice flat. "The guild needs a more capable vice leader to grow now." Her words were logical, but they were as cold as ice. My hands clenched into fists, and a deep, raw ache filled my heart. When I first started this game, it wasn't to become a vice leader. The full immersion game scenery was incredible. I only started playing to see the sights. But after becoming Lord Ruyan's in-game partner, and then the vice leader, I forced myself to learn how to fight monsters and handle guild matters. For her, I spent countless nights farming materials, researching strategies for guild battles, and desperately practicing my movements and skills. I poured my heart and soul into this, just to be able to stand by her side. And now, she didn't want me anymore. My fingers stiffly brought up the game panel. A system prompt appeared. "Do you wish to step down from the position of vice leader?" Before I could even select confirm, the panel turned gray. The system's broadcast echoed throughout the entire guild. "Lord Ruyan has removed Chaotic Unrivaled from the position of vice leader. Lord Ruyan has appointed Yorita as the new vice leader. Let's give them a warm welcome." The two announcements appeared at the same time, with the second one sounding so joyful. On the guild's members list, where I was once listed side by side with Lord Ruyan, now stood Yorita. And my name, Chaotic Unrivaled, was moved down the list, sorted by combat power. After the meeting, Lord Ruyan sent me a private message. "Meet me at the Love Bond Tree." The Love Bond Tree is where you bind and unbind partnerships. My heart sank. As expected, when I arrived, Lord Ruyan got straight to the point. "Let's unbind our partnership." My heart sank even further. I forced myself to speak, desperately trying to delay the inevitable. "The Love Bond quest is only 1 week away from being completed. Are you sure you want to unbind now?" There was an achievement in the game called 3 Lives, 3 Worlds, which required a couple to complete 3 years of continuous Love Bond quests. Because the time was so long and the conditions so strict, no one had ever achieved it since the game launched. We had started the quest when we first bonded, and now, the seemingly endless 3 years were almost over, with only 1 week left. But the person who started it wanted to give up. "It's just an achievement," Lord Ruyan said flatly. "It doesn't matter if we don't get it." As she spoke, she clicked to unbind. A system notification popped up in front of me. "Your partner, Lord Ruyan, has prayed to the Love Bond Tree for a destiny-severing knot, requesting to unbind your partnership. Our love was deep, but our connection was shallow. We part ways." It felt as if a giant hand was squeezing my heart. I closed my eyes and pleaded, "Can we not unbind? You know, I've loved you for these 3 years. My voice trembled, a last-ditch effort. But all I received was suffocating silence. Lord Ruyan stared at me. A flash of something complicated crossed her beautiful face, but her tone remained cold. "I told you that we were only bonded for the convenience of the quests. I didn't care who the person was." She paused, then continued. "It's because Hida is back that I feel the word love bond has meaning." My heart seized up. "Then what about me?" I choked out. "What about my companionship, my efforts, my feelings these past 3 years? What was I to you?" Lord Ruyan only uttered 2 words. "I'm sorry." She opened her palm, and a ball of light appeared, slowly forming into a pair of scissors. The red thread that bound us together needed to be cut by both of us to be severed. She cruelly handed me the scissors. "You cut it." I took the scissors and looked into her eyes. There was no emotion there. Tears streamed from my eyes. With a slight tremble of my hand, I cut the red thread that symbolized our connection. Instantly, a system announcement appeared in the floating channel. "Congratulations! The first love bond, Chaotic Unrivaled and Lord Ruyan, has been unbound. From this day forward, you go your separate ways and find your own happiness. Your destinies have scattered, like a flower that blooms and then withers. How sad, how pathetic. After that, Lord Ruyan gave a slight nod to me and teleported away. The floating channel exploded with comments. OMG, that's it! He's finally free of her! Lord Ruyan finally dumped that old hag. I heard he was also removed as vice leader. Looks like he'll be kicked out of the guild soon too. Haha, chaotic unrivaled was just a burden anyway. He's an ugly and disgusting freeloader. I watched, letting each cruel word stab into my heart, drawing brilliant beads of blood. Distraught, I was about to log off when another system announcement popped up. Lord Ruyan has lit the Silver Tree firework for your Yida. All brave adventurers, please look up and admire this beautiful moment. Following the announcement, fireworks exploded one after another above my head. The dazzling fireworks burst in the sky like scattered starlight. Gradually, the falling stars formed a message in the air. Your Yida, I like you. The world chat was filled with scrolling comments. OMG, if I'm not mistaken, one of those fireworks cost 140 credits. That's too much love from Lord Ruyan. See? You can tell if a woman loves you by how much money she's willing to spend. Chaotic Unrivaled waited for Ruyan for 3 years and he probably didn't even get a firework, let alone a confession. You must be kidding. With a face as ugly as his, he should have paid Ruyan to be with her. I stared blankly as the comments scrolled across the sky, like sharp blades cutting through the starlight. But each firework hurt more than the insults. I suddenly remembered a saying, when you like someone, you should run towards them. So Lord Ruyan must truly like your Yida. Otherwise, why would she be so eager to find him right after unbinding from me? But I also really liked her. I was the one who was with her for 3 years. Did she not feel anything for me at all? Snap out of it. I messaged Lord Ruyan. We're in the same city. Let's meet tomorrow. Just once. I want to personally put a period on this relationship that went nowhere. She replied much later with a single word, okay. The next day I got up early to get ready for the meeting. It had been a long time since I'd taken care of myself, so I found tutorials online and painstakingly got ready. I carefully chose an outfit, even putting on the suit my parents had given me when I came of age. I took a deep breath and left the house. On the way, almost everyone who saw me froze. Wow, is that a celebrity? Are they filming a reality show? There are no cameras. Let's take a picture and search online. Someone this handsome must be famous. I lowered my head, my pace quickening. I knew these strangers didn't mean any harm, but I was still unaccustomed to the attention. I arrived an hour early. I messaged Leo Ruyan. I'm here. Are you coming soon? She replied, a little later. I put away my phone and waited patiently. But after only half an hour, more and more people surrounded me, staring with open or seemingly casual curiosity. I had no choice but to put on a mask. I messaged Leo Ruyan again. About how much longer will you be? This time, she didn't reply. I didn't push it, just waited silently. But this time, I waited until it was completely dark and the last subway train had left. Leo Ruyan never showed up. I had no choice but to leave. I hadn't walked far when I noticed a few men staring at me. My heart sank, but I wasn't panicked. Instead, I took a cab directly to the police station. The station lobby was lively. A group of police officers in tactical uniforms, looking like they had just returned from a mission, were chatting in the hall. When I walked in, everyone fell silent. The boisterous hall was suddenly quiet. A female officer awkwardly stepped forward. Sir, can I help you? I spoke nervously. Someone was following me. Can I hide here for a while? The people in the room erupted as if a switch had been flipped. Don't be scared, handsome. Where are they? I'll go take care of them. It's too late. It's not safe for a handsome person like you to be alone. I'll take you back. Why should you take him? I came in my car, so I should take him. The chatter was interrupted by a sharp voice. What's all the noise about? Everyone instantly quieted down. I looked up and saw a man walking out of an interrogation room. He was tall, nearly 1.75 meters, but even more imposing were his sharp, beautiful features. He froze when he saw me, but quickly recovered. He looked at one of the officers, who immediately explained, Captain, this young man was being followed. I was just about to take him home. The woman's eyelids lifted slightly in thought. In a moment, she said, "You stay here and write the case report. I'll take him." With that, she walked out. I quickly followed. She opened the door to a Land Rover on the street. I gave her my address and she started the car. The ride was silent. When we arrived, I got out and thanked her. She didn't leave. She lit a cigarette, the glowing tip flickering in the dark. "Don't be afraid on your way to school," she said. The words were short, but strangely reassuring. I quickly thanked her again and went inside. Once I was home, my shoulders sagged. I put on my VR helmet and entered the game, intending to confront Liu Ruyan about being stood up. But when I logged in, I saw that your Yida and Lord Ruyan were live streaming their dungeon run on the front page of the game's forum. I clicked in. The live chat was filled with emotional comments. "I'm crying. Ruyan would rather get hit by a monster than go get Yida's stray heel. She really loves him." Before, Chaotic Unrivaled was always the one taking hits for Ruyan. There is a fundamental difference between a prince and a toad. Don't insult Yida. How can you compare that ugly monster to my female god? Watching the comments, your Yida laughed and said, "Everyone, please stop spamming. Unrivaled will be sad if he hears you." Then, as if he just remembered, he turned to Lord Ruyan. "By the way, didn't Unrivaled want to meet you today? Are you going to be late?" At his words, the chat became even more frenzied. OMG. He actually dared to ask Ruyan to meet? He wants to scare her to death. I'm laughing so hard imagining that ugly guy getting stood up, while Ruyan is live streaming with Yida. What a clown. I stared at the screen, my eyes fixed on it. Then, I heard Lord Ruyan's dismissive voice. "He's not important." The words floated away, quickly drowned out by the game's sound effects, but they resonated deeply in my heart. Every moment we shared over the past 3 years flashed before my eyes. We had run this dungeon together. I was the one who always stood in front of her. In the Dragon Boat Festival boat race, she won the first lotus flower and pinned it to my chest. We had also watched the snowfall in the game together. No matter how beautiful those memories were, they were now covered in a gray haze by that one sentence. My feelings, my reality, were meaningless in her eyes. I quietly logged off the game, tears streaming down my face and washing away the painstakingly applied makeup. Meanwhile, after she ended the live stream, Liu Ruyan was handling some work when a local trending news alert popped up on her phone. "The whole internet is fighting. Who made this handsome man wait for so long?" She clicked on it and saw a video someone had secretly filmed. In the video, a tall, handsome man stood at a street corner, a sharp, inky black haircut. From his back alone, you could tell he was a top-tier handsome guy. The poster was furious, because this handsome guy waited for someone all afternoon. "Who's so careless with his time?" they wrote. The comments section was full of people agreeing. "I saw him in the city too," one person wrote. "I thought they were filming a movie. He really was just waiting for someone. I'm so mad. The person who stood him up had better have been saving the world, or I'll never forgive them." The camera panned over, revealing the man's masked profile. His long lashes trembled as he seemed to sigh. This scene seemed to have a magical power, tugging at everyone's heartstrings. In the cafe, Liu Ruyan's hand slipped, and her cup of coffee crashed onto the table. Before she could clean up the mess, she noticed the store in the video was the very same one where Matchless in a Chaotic World had agreed to meet. Her heart sank. Liu Ruyan opened WeChat and saw the message from Matchless in a Chaotic World. Isn't that afternoon? He'd asked how much longer until he arrived, and the other person had seen it but didn't reply. Liu Ruyan immediately sent a message. "Are you there?" No response. She called. When I saw the name Liu Ruyan on my caller ID, I froze for a second. Hesitantly, I answered. "What is it?" I asked, my voice a little hoarse. Liu Ruyan paused, then asked indirectly. "How long did you wait for me today?" I couldn't speak. To say I'd waited from noon until evening, a statement so utterly lacking in dignity, was something I didn't know how to do. For the sake of that pitiful, laughable self-respect, I lied. "Not long," I replied. A wave of relief and a hint of disappointment washed over Liu Ruyan. It looked like the person in the video wasn't me after all. Liu Ruyan cleared her throat. "Even if you're not the Vice Guild Master, you're still a council member. Remember to do the quests." Then she hung up. The jarring dial tone echoed in the night. I stared at my phone. a prickle of sadness at the tip of my nose that was hard to control. I put on my helmet and logged in, but I didn't do the guild quests. Instead, I went to the guild store. I looked at my more than 14,000 guild points and sighed. These were all the fruits of my years of hard work for the guild, yet I had never been willing to use them. I'd wanted to save up to 15,000 to get Lord Ruyan the Warrior Divine set, but now I reconsidered. I clicked on the Materials tab and started to exchange them. I was going to be a casual player again. I had originally joined the guild for Lord Ruyan, but now she had a new Vice Guild Mastering companion. I didn't want to stay and be embarrassed. I might as well spend all my points before I left. After exchanging all the materials, I went to the tavern in town to buy some food. In this fully immersive VR game, everything was incredibly real, even the taste of food. I had just sat down when I heard some familiar voices from behind a screen. One person chuckled dreamily. "Yida, you're amazing! Lord Ruyan is head over heels for you now, right? Once you get together, you'll be the first gentleman." Yida let out a soft laugh. "I won't be with him. Haven't you heard of the flying a kite rule? You have to be close but also far away. That's what makes a man irresistible. If we were together, how would I get her to spend money on me?" I was frozen in shock by their conversation. The screen in front of me was suddenly pushed aside. When I came to, I saw Yida with a mocking smile. "Matchless, what are you doing here? Since we've run into each other, why don't you join us?" I was in disbelief. "Ruyan likes you so much. How can you do that?" Yida didn't answer, but his friends immediately started yelling at me. "Matchless, have you no shame? Eavesdropping on our conversation? I'm warning you, if you dare to tell anyone." Before he could finish his threat, Yida looked at my plain, ordinary face and scoffed. "So what if he heard? Even if he tells Ruyan, would Ruyan believe him?" A burst of laughter erupted around me. I clenched my fists and turned to leave. Even if Ruyan didn't like me, I wouldn't stand by and watch her true feelings be so carelessly misplaced. I messaged Lord Ruyan, asking to meet, but she told me to come to the guild instead. When I arrived, everyone was gathered together, looking at me with hostility. Lord Ruyan's face was so dark it could have dripped ink. Someone sneered. "Why is the traitor who stole the Holy Grail back? What's the point of talking to him? That was the Holy Grail everyone worked so hard to get while we were the #1 guild. This ugly guy must have been dumped by the guild master and got bitter. How evil and stupid!" The insults and malice rained down on me. I was completely stunned, having no idea what was going on. The next moment, I heard Yida say coldly, "Perfect timing. Matchless, give back the Holy Grail you stole, or don't blame us for making this guild unlivable for you." I suddenly understood. Yida was playing the victim. I quickly tried to explain. "It wasn't me. I didn't take the Holy Grail." Yida immediately cut me off. "My friend saw you leaving with something shiny and golden. I know you don't like me, but you can't be mad at the whole guild because of me." When he said this, everyone exploded. "Matchless, you're just jealous of how pretty and kind Yida is, and how we all love him. Listen, ugly guy, hand over the Holy Grail right now, or don't blame us for getting physical." As I listened to their cold words, my heart felt a deep sense of despair. For 3 whole years I had toiled for this guild. Many of these people were ones I had personally helped from the very beginning. But now, no one believed me. I turned to Lord Ruyan. "What about you? You don't believe me either." Lord Ruyan didn't say anything. She just looked at me coldly, her eyes as frigid as ice. The chilly temperature from her stare made it impossible for me to utter another word. After a moment, I looked at Yida, my heart completely broken. "What do you want?" Yida smiled softly. "You say it wasn't you, and I don't want to accuse you unjustly. Just open your bag in front of everyone so we can clear your name." I knew he was only doing this to humiliate me. No one would publicly display the contents of their bag. It was no different from being searched in the real world. Yida wanted to force me to leave, but he didn't realize I had already made up my mind to go. I just didn't want to leave with this shameful reputation. I clenched my fist and opened my bag anyway. A huge, transparent panel appeared before everyone. I went through page after page. There was no Holy Grail. Aside from my everyday supplies and materials, there was only a pair of glimmering heavenly tier gear. It was a pair of Phoenix and Phoenix-seeking relationship jade pendants. Everyone gasped when they saw them. This was one of less than 10 pieces of divine tier jewelry on the entire server. I gave Lord Ruyan a self-deprecating smile. I made this as a 3-year anniversary gift, but you don't need it anymore. Lord Ruyan said nothing, but a complex look crossed her eyes. Calmly, I closed my bag and turned to the crowd. Now you've seen it, can you drop the suspicion? No one answered. I didn't care. I packed up my things, opened the menu, and chose to leave the guild. The system notification popped up. Is the hero matchless in a chaotic world? Sure, he wants to leave the guild, China, and become a Lone Ranger. I clicked confirm without hesitation. A moment later, a server-wide announcement appeared. The #1 support player, matchless in a chaotic world, has left the guild, China. The guild ranking has dropped by 2 places. We hope all adventurers will work hard to protect the guild's honor. No one expected this. Someone immediately grumbled. It was just a small misunderstanding. Did he have to leave? He's ugly and has a small heart. I paused, wanting to say something, but in the end I just gave a slight smile. I walked out of the guild hall, a place I had poured my heart and soul into. I would never be back. After leaving the guild, I logged off. I took off my helmet, and my bedroom came back into view. Everything that just happened felt like a dream, but the dull ache in my chest was real. Pushing the mess from the game aside, I picked up my drawing tablet and started on a new piece. After a long time, it was finally finished. I wanted to send it to Liu Ruyan, but I accidentally clicked on her social media page. The very first post was from an hour ago, a photo of her with a boy. Yida has been by my side for 6 years. You love games, so I created one just for you. I stared at the post for a long time. Only then did I realize that the game I was designing characters for was one Liu Ruyan was making for her Yida. As a famous illustrator, my asking price was much higher than what I was charging, but because it was Liu Ruyan, I had lowered my price and taken on the difficult job. Now, it felt like all that effort had been for nothing. After a while, I opened the chat with Liu Ruyan. My fingers stiffly typed, Ms. Liu, I'm sorry, but for personal reasons, I can't continue this project. I'll pay the breach of contract fee as per the agreement. I sent it, and she immediately sent several messages back, but I didn't read any of them. I checked my savings and saw that after paying the penalty, I'd have very little left. I was anxious and knew I needed to take on new commissions. I'd be busy for a while, so I had to put the game aside. Just before I went to bed, Liu Ruyan called. After a moment of silence, I answered. What is it? My tone was calm. She paused, then said, Ms. Liu, I'm downstairs at your place. Can we talk about the contract termination in person? I knew my agent had given her my address. After thinking it over, I let her in. The moment I opened the door, I felt her undisguised gaze. Ms. Liu, she said with a hint of a smile in her voice, do you wear a mask even at home? I explained calmly, seasonal allergies. I just wanted to get this over with and never see her again. I took out a cup to pour some tea, but then I heard her speak from behind me. Miss Liu, do you play this game too? I turned to see her looking at my gaming helmet. I said softly, I haven't played in a long time. She glanced at the charging cable still connected to the helmet. She turned back to me. Regarding the termination, if you're not satisfied with the compensation, I can offer 10 times the market price. This was a huge concession, but I hadn't taken the job for the money. Ms. Liu, you can find other illustrators for that price. They're all the same. Liu Ruyan raised an eyebrow. I don't understand. We were working so well together. Why do you insist on terminating the contract? I tightened my grip on my teacup. Giving up? I said, I got dumped. I'm not in the mood. Is that a good enough reason, Ms. Liu? A heavy silence followed. Liu Ruyan just stared at me. A mask covered most of my face, but my eyes were striking and soulful. Impossible to forget. For some reason, she felt that this illustrator, whom she had just met, seemed familiar, like a thick fog. She couldn't remember or see clearly. She cleared her throat. I'll give you 3 days to adjust. In 3 days, you can tell me if you want to continue the collaboration. The door opened and closed, leaving me with only a cup of hot tea on the table. The person was gone, and the tea had gotten cold. I logged back into the game and went to the newbie city of Bianjing. My blacksmithing, alchemy, and fishing skills were all maxed out. I had personally crafted that pair of Phoenix and Phoenix-seeking relationship jade pendants. As a returning casual player, I set up a stall in the crafting district to sell small gear. Business was pretty good until a flashy figure appeared in front of me. Yeda. Seeing him reminded me of the photo Liruyan had posted yesterday. I hadn't looked closely then, but now I realized Yeda's side profile was somewhat similar to my real-life self. Frowning, I asked indifferently, "What do you want?" "Sell me that divine-tier jade pendant," he said commandingly. "It's a relationship item, so it's useless to you. I can give you this much." He made a gesture, offering a price nearly half of the market value. I couldn't even be bothered to get angry. I just said, "Not for sale." I didn't want any more dealings with these people. Yeda's face darkened at the outright refusal. "I suggest you reconsider, or you'll regret it." I was unmoved. I no longer cared for Lord Ruin, so I couldn't imagine what else could hurt me. But soon after, while I was out of the city gathering materials, a group of people surrounded me. The warrior player leading them looked vicious. "So you're the one, huh? You're ugly, and you're evil too." "Yeda wanted to buy something, and you took his deposit and ran off. Did you think you could mess with my idol and get away with it? Let's go, guys. Let's kill this ugly guy and get revenge for our idol." With that, they surrounded me and started a field PK. I might be the #1 support, but they had me outnumbered. I was killed and respawned. At the resurrection point, I checked the game forum to find out what had happened. Yeda had gone on a live stream and slandered me. In the tearful video, he said, "I just wanted to get something for Ruyan, so I tried to buy Matchless's jade pendants." He agreed, but he took the deposit, backed out, and blocked me. His fans were furious. "He scammed him out of so much money! We can file a report!" As expected, the uglier the person, the more disgusting their heart. "Matchless, you worthless piece of trash. Did you use that money to buy your dad a coffin? Who's with me? Let's go teach that ugly guy a lesson." As I read the insults, I involuntarily clenched my fists. It seemed Yeda didn't just want to get me kicked out of the guild. He wanted to drive me out of the game entirely, to the point where I couldn't even be a casual player. I used the server channel to announce, "I never took a deposit from him. If you're going to throw accusations at me, at least provide proof." My message only caused an uproar. This is hilarious. No! Would you believe the #1 handsome guy would slander the #1 ugly guy? Or do you believe I'm the first emperor of China? Yeda is handsome and rich, and the great Lord Ruyan dotes on him. Why would he need to slander a washed-up loser like you, who got kicked out of the guild? Oh wait, I remember! He was kicked out for stealing the Holy Grail. He's a repeat offender. The rumors became more and more outrageous, even claiming I was a public menace. The guild members, the teammates I had taken care of for 3 years, not one of them stood up for me. I was isolated and defenseless. Wherever I ran, Yeda's fans swarmed me. The pain in the game was only simulated at 10%, but after multiple consecutive deaths, most people would have given up. But even with the constant deaths and pain, I stubbornly refused to give up the item. During another ambush, I was backed into a corner, but then I saw Lord Ruyan among the crowd. "Stop," she said coldly, halting everyone. She walked toward me. "No one is to kill him anymore." Her words brought an immense sense of security. It was as if she was still protecting me. My eyes welled up instantly and I said hoarsely, "Ruyan." But Lord Ruyan looked down at me, her eyes filled with a cold indifference. "Give me the item, and this whole thing will be over." I froze, unable to believe what I was hearing. I trembled as I asked, Do you really think I would do something like that?" For 3 years, our interactions were always mutual. Lord Ruyan would give me items, and I would give her clothes in return. Did she really think I was the kind of person who would go back on my word for a little money? Lord Ruyan didn't answer. Yeda came out from behind her, tugging at her sleeve, his handsome face filled with fake remorse. "Ruyan, let's just drop it. It's only a little money." "I don't want it anymore." His words instantly extinguished any trace of warmth in Lord Ruyan's eyes. Her gaze became bone-chillingly cold. "If you want to do it this way, I'll see it through." She opened her menu and posted a bounty for me right there. "Wanted. Matchless in a chaotic world. Bring a record of killing him for a reward of 500 gold per head." The entire server erupted. "Holy crap! 500 gold a head!" She really dotes on her girlfriend. "You guys fight for him. I'm gonna go camp the resurrection point." No wonder that ugly guy is so OP. Who would have thought that Matchless's life is worth more than a final boss's? As the ridicule and amazement swirled around me, my heart grew colder. The bounty, pinned at the top of the board, felt like a knife carving into me, a pain sharper than any ambush I'd faced. I was still standing, but my heart had been shredded to pieces. As the crowd closed in, I didn't resist for the first time. I just logged off. Back in reality, I buried myself under my blanket, tears soaking my pillow. I was up all night. For 3 days, I didn't log into the game. I focused on my work, just waiting to terminate the contract with Liu Ruyan. 3 days later, Liu Ruyan called as expected and asked to meet at a coffee shop to discuss the termination in person. I didn't refuse. Wearing a hat and a mask, I arrived at the address. Liu Ruyan wasn't alone. She had another man with her. "This is my boyfriend, Zhang Yida. He's a game streamer. You're Yida, Mr. Yu. You must know him since you play games." Liu Ruyan's eyes were full of tenderness as she looked at Zhang Yida. I just gave a faint glance. I don't really follow game streamers. Zhang Yida's face fell, and he scoffed. "Ruyan's already given you more than enough money. You should know when to quit and just finish the drawing. Don't make things difficult for yourself. I've already told you I won't finish it," I said, too tired to argue. I pushed a bank card toward her. "I consulted a lawyer. This is the breach of contract fee. The password is 6 zeros. I'm leaving." I stood up, but Liu Ruyan stopped me. "Mr. Yu, to be honest, this project is for my boyfriend, and it's a dream I've had for 6 years. Whatever your reason, I hope you can finish the male character's design. If there's something you're not comfortable with, you can tell me, and I'll handle it." Hearing her words, I unconsciously dug my nails into my palm. Liu Ruyan could go to such lengths for Zhang Yida, but why was she so cruel to me? I took a deep breath and gave a self-deprecating laugh. Because I'm matchless in a chaotic world. Is that reason enough? Without looking at their expressions, I turned and fled home in a daze. I sat on the sofa, feeling as if my world was spinning. All the dignity I had tried so hard to keep was gone, because of Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan didn't message me again. It seemed the ordeal was finally over. I tried to move on, but the red marks at the corners of my eyes wouldn't go away. The next day, I was woken up by a call from my agent. "Xiaobu, you're being mobbed online." I froze and opened my phone. I saw that I had been plastered all over Weibo. Shocking. A famous illustrator is actually the ugliest guy in games, a scammer who took money and reneged on a contract. Yita was live streaming again. In the video, his eyes were teary as he said, "Everyone knows Ruyan designed a game for me. She hired, matchless in a chaotic world, as the lead artist. But because of his jealousy, he bailed right when the project was about to be finished, holding up the entire game. I just want to say to Matchless, if it's because of me, I apologize. But please don't ruin the 6 years of hard work Ruyan put into this." He even showed a secretly taken photo. In the picture, I was wearing a hat and a mask, but he had photoshopped me to look hunched over and disheveled. With that, my Weibo was instantly flooded with hateful comments. I used to love this illustrator, but he's a terrible person. As expected from the ugliest guy in games. You can tell he's ugly even without seeing his face. Don't say that. He's kind-hearted. He knows to wear a mask so his ugly face doesn't scare people. The overwhelming online mob even affected my past collaborations. In disbelief, I called Liu Ruyan, but she never answered. Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan casually hung up my call, staring at a photo on her computer desktop. It was a picture of a boy from the side, wearing a school uniform. He was plain but had striking bright eyes. This was her white moonlight. The boy she had liked since college, the one who left a photo and then vanished for 6 years. He was also her current boyfriend, Zhang Yida. Zhang Yida walked up and hugged her from behind. "Ruyan, why are you still looking at an old photo? I'm right here. Isn't the real thing better?" Liu Ruyan's eyes flickered, and her voice was serious. "You feel different from the photo." Zhang Yida's face fell slightly, but he laughed. "It's been so many years. Of course, I'm a little different. Am I not me anymore?" "Right." Liu Ruyan didn't respond. She looked at the boy in the photo, and then at Zhang Yida. She could see traces of the past, but something felt off. As the online attacks on me grew more severe, Zhang Yida contacted me. He spoke with a sense of entitlement. "Just finished the drawing, and I won't press charges. The breach of contract fee you paid and your compensation, Consider that my emotional damage fee. You can try to expose me online if you want, but no one will believe you." I hung up on him immediately. Not only did I refuse, but I also posted on Weibo, "After paying the breach of contract fee, I will never draw for these two again." I had always been this stubborn. No one could force me to do something I didn't want to. I even logged back into the game. As expected, I was chased by the entire server the moment I went online. I was killed again and again, and my gear was almost completely gone. Luckily, I was clever enough to store the jade pendants in the official bank, so they couldn't be dropped. I learned to hide and run. This time, I found a secluded map and hid in a patch of reeds. As I was hiding, I heard a low chuckle beside me. "Are you matchless in a chaotic world? The one with the server-wide bounty on his head?" My heart skipped a beat. I looked over and saw a woman in all black, wearing a mask, lazily lying on a log with a fishing rod beside her. She looked like an NPC until she spoke. I asked quietly, "Are you here to kill me for the money?" She laughed softly. "I'm a righteous assassin. I wouldn't kill someone for a few coins. I'm just curious why you don't give them the item, since you're being hunted so mercilessly." I was silent for a moment. Probably because living requires some pride. I didn't expect anyone to understand. As I was about to find another place to hide, she said, "Do you want to hire me?" "What?" I asked. The woman in black explained, "Hire me with the item they want. I'll help you get revenge. What do you say?" She opened her character menu, and a sparkling gold title appeared, "The #1 Assassin." The system description was even more arrogant. Killing a man in 10 steps, 1,000 miles without a trace. The #1 expert in the Jianghu. She was the top assassin on the server, the elusive, snow dangling from the cold river. Looking at her absurdly good stats, my lips slowly closed in shock. My palms clenched and then relaxed. "Okay," I said, my voice trembling but firm. In half an hour, at the main city of Luoyang, I left the teleporter and went to the guild hall I hadn't visited in a long time. By chance, I ran into Lord Ruyan and her Yida. The moment they stepped out of the hall, a crowd gathered around us. "The money-grubbing dog is back? Hasn't he learned his lesson? Is he here to beg Yida for forgiveness after scamming him out of so much money and breaking a contract in real life? Does he have the nerve? What are you wasting time for? Let's go! That 500 gold is mine." People started to close in, but Lord Ruyan held up her hand, stopping them. She asked me in a low voice, "Why are you here?" I looked directly at her, saying each word slowly. "I've come for justice." The crowd erupted in laughter. "Matchless in a chaotic world must have lost his mind. Such a big mouth. It's hilarious. Let's bet on how many times he'll be killed today." "Haha, I bet 30 times." Yida laughed patronizingly. "With just you." Before he could finish, a black blur of smoke suddenly appeared beside me. It was so fast it was like an optical illusion. The shadowy figure shot through the crowd and straight at Yida. Lord Ruyan instantly reacted, trying to block it, but the figure was as fast as black lightning. In a few seconds, Yida let out a pale scream, his body dissipating into specks of light. The kill notification rang out in the area. "Snow dangling from the cold river has killed Yida. Achievement unlocked. 100 shots, 100 bullseyes. Achievement unlocked. 1-hit kill." It was terrifying how he had killed a veteran player in 1 hit, and in a town where damage was halved, everyone's faces changed. The black fog cleared, revealing a masked figure in a night suit. His clothes were modest, but the gilded medallion on his head was hard to miss. The #1 assassin. Holy crap, isn't that snow dangling from the cold river? Why is he here? I thought someone was hacking. Even Ruyan couldn't stop him. This is the real deal. Under everyone's gaze, Lord Ruyan's face was ashen as she asked, "Snow dangling from the cold river, what is the meaning of this? Are you picking a fight with our China guild?" Snow dangling from the cold river didn't even look at her. He posted a public notice on the server channel. "From now on, for every time Matchless in a Chaotic World is killed, Yida will be killed as a consolation prize." He then took me and walked away openly. Countless players were around us, but no one dared to block our path. That night, the game forums exploded. Isn't Snow dangling from the cold river a lone wolf who is never seen? Someone offered him a 6-figure sum to come out of retirement, and he didn't even budge. Why would he help that ugly guy? Someone killed Matchless a few times this afternoon, and Snow dangling from the cold river really went and killed Yida. He even infiltrated their guild. That's so arrogant. Isn't he basically slapping Ruyan in the face? I don't get it. First Ruyan, now snow dangling from the cold river. Why are all these big shots connected to that ugly guy? Who cares about winning in the game? In real life, Ruyan and Yida are the kings of the gaming industry. If the great Hanjung and Matchless have the guts, they should reveal their professions and compete there too. The forums were in an uproar, but at that moment I received a private message from Lord Ruyan. I'll declare war on snow dangling from the cold river. You'd better stay away from him from now on. My eyebrows furrowed deeply at the patronizing tone. Ever since she let the rumors fester online and allowed Yida to spread lies and even post a bounty on me, our relationship had been severed. She was the one who abandoned our old friendship first. I just replied, "What does that have to do with you?" After that, I clicked on my friends list. The system asked, "Are you sure you want to blacklist the adventurer, Lord Ruyan?" I pressed confirm without hesitation. In the following days, as Yida was killed again and again by snow dangling from the cold river, the bounty on me was finally removed. While Matchless in a chaotic world was still met with insults wherever he went, no one dared to hunt me anymore, afraid of becoming the next target of snow dangling from the cold river's wrath. For the first time in a while, I walked openly in Luoyang, a strange sadness welling up in my heart. On a whim, I logged off and stayed up all night to finish a drawing. In the picture, snow dangling from the cold river was wearing his night suit from when we first met, standing on a rooftop. Below, the beautiful Luoyang city was a sea of lights. His cold eyes looked down, as if everything in the world was just passing by. As I looked at the painting, my heart swelled. My life had been a mess lately, but this was the first time I had been able to focus on my art. It was also my most satisfying piece. I sent a message to Snow Dangling from the cold river. "Thank you for everything. Besides the item I promised, I'll send you a painting." He replied simply, "You don't have to." I took a photo of the painting and sent it to him. 3 seconds later, he changed his mind. "Okay," I smiled proudly. "What's your address? I'll mail it to you." He sent me a location. "Log off first. I'll treat you to dinner." It was a newly opened French restaurant in the city center. I hesitated but foolishly agreed. "See you this weekend." At the same time, at the French restaurant, the manager was reporting to Liu Ruyan. "Ms. Liu, the restaurant is ready. We've also called and canceled the reservations for all the other guests. There will be no accidents. The proposal this weekend will definitely be a surprise for Mr. Zhang Yida." The manager was excited, but Liu Ruyan's heart was calm. She didn't understand why. She was about to propose to the person she had loved for 6 years, yet she didn't feel the excitement she had imagined. Liu Ruyan took out her phone and unconsciously swiped to the chat with, "Matchless in a chaotic world." "What does that have to do with you?" My reply had been bothering her for a long time. Liu Ruyan's finger tapped the screen. "I'm proposing this weekend. Are you coming?" She sent the message, but only a red exclamation mark appeared. It was a stark reminder that I had deleted her. Liu Ruyan clenched her phone tightly. The weekend came quickly. I put on a simple hat and mask and left for the restaurant. When I got to the entrance, the hostess stopped me before I could even speak. "Sorry, the restaurant is booked for a private event today. No one else is allowed." I was stunned. I took off my mask. "My friend made a reservation. Can you please check again?" She was silent. I looked up and saw her staring at me in a daze. "Hello?" I prompted. The hostess snapped out of it, her face turning completely red. She nodded erratically. "Yes, please come in. Go this way." She pointed a direction behind her. Only after I left did she recover, holding her face in her hands and mumbling to herself. "Oh my God, is this the kind of beauty that requires a domineering CEO to book the entire restaurant for a proposal?" Inside the restaurant, everything was being prepared meticulously. The proposal was going to be an unprecedented grand affair. Besides Zhang Yida, Liu Ruyan had invited local members of Zhang Yida's fan club to witness it. She even live-streamed the event, so fans who couldn't attend could watch. Everyone present was excitedly discussing it. "After today, the great Lord Ruyan will be our public enemy. You're in no position to compare. The real Ruyan is no different from her. Demon sword, character, handsome, rich, and devoted. We can only watch and admire from afar. Maybe her only flaw is matchless in a chaotic world. I'd be devastated if I had to deal with that ugly guy for 3 years. I wish that ugly guy could be here to see this. He'd die of jealousy." As the orchestra began to play, Zhang Yida walked in. Rose petals fell from the ceiling. He looked genuinely surprised, covering his mouth with his hands. The crowd cheered, and the live stream exploded with comments. What a scene from an idol drama! Yida is so beautiful. He's a real prince. They look so good together. A handsome guy and a beautiful girl. It's good for my eyes. The comments were overwhelmingly positive. But then a different one appeared. Really? I don't think he's that good looking. He's way less handsome than Demon Sword and the live stream with the beauty filter. He's just an ordinary good-looking guy. This instantly drew outrage. Are you blind? You think this isn't good-looking? You must be into Matchless in a Chaotic World. Get lost, you 10th-rate troll. Don't come here and pollute our eyes just because you like ugly guys. The people at the proposal couldn't see the little commotion on the screen. The applause was thunderous and cheers of, "Say yes," echoed through the room. Under everyone's gaze, Liu Ruyan walked up to Zhang Yida, knelt on one knee, and said, "Will you marry?" Before she could finish, the door was suddenly pushed open, and a figure walked in. Liu Ruyan instinctively looked up and froze. Not just her, but everyone in the room froze the moment they saw the guy at the door. He was wearing a simple t-shirt with no makeup, but the moment they saw him, everyone's heart skipped a beat. For a few seconds, the room was eerily silent, as if under a spell. Some people's hands were frozen mid-clap, others stared in a daze, their mouths agape. No one spoke in the restaurant, but after a brief pause, the comments on the live stream went crazy. Holy cow, who is that? He's just naturally handsome, without any tricks. This is what Yida should look like. This is my imaginary Yida. You're an idiot. Don't compare Yida to a guy this handsome. Can a mortal compare to a god? I was a little confused by the scene. I took another 2 steps and saw Liu Ruyan kneeling in the middle. Only then did I realize I had inexplicably walked into her proposal. My eyebrows furrowed. I said sorry, and turned to leave. That broke the silence. Liu Ruyan snapped out of her trance. The face of the guy in front of her suddenly overlapped with the profile photo she had treasured for 6 years. Her pupils constricted. Liu Ruyan ignored everyone and grabbed my wrist tightly. "What's your name?" she asked cautiously, her grip unbreakable. Unable to break free, I closed my eyes and sighed deeply. I looked at her steadily, and my calm, measured voice echoed through the restaurant and the live stream. "My name is Liu Xiaobu. I'm also matchless in a chaotic world." The moment I finished speaking, the entire restaurant went dead silent. The live stream comments, after a moment of stunned silence, exploded. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit! Is this a script? How can Matchless in a Chaotic World be this handsome? Listen to his voice. It's the same. I used to wonder why an ugly guy had such a good voice. Of course, a good voice means the person can't be ugly. I used to think Yida was pretty good looking, but next to Matchless, he looks so ordinary. Don't feel like you're blind. This is reality. Matchless is the real #1 heartthrob of this game. With that last comment, the camera turned to Zhang Yida. His face was a mask of ugliness as he walked up and grabbed Liu Ruyan's arm. "Ruyan, Matchless probably didn't mean to ruin the proposal. Don't be mad. I'll marry you. Let's go." Zhang Yida tried to lead Liu Ruyan away, but she was frozen, staring at me. Her eyes trembled and her mind was blank. She reached into her chest pocket and took out a photo. "Is this you?" I didn't take it. I just looked down. It was a photo of me from a high school track and field meet. "Why do you have this photo?" I asked. Before Liu Ruyan could answer, a person from the livestream comments interrupted. "That photo was posted on a game forum 6 years ago. It went viral. Don't you know, my lord?" He then glanced at Zhang Yida meaningfully. The user who posted it was named Yida. I thought for a moment. I did have a user named Yida, but I closed the account a long time ago. I was in my senior year of high school then, and I was focused on my studies. The only time I relaxed was during that track meet. I posted the photo on my blog and then went back to studying. A few months later, after I took my college entrance exam, I tried to log in, but my account had been deleted due to a system crash. Immediately, someone from the comments agreed. That makes sense. It's a common name. I have over 10 no cilantro users on my list, and tons of rock candy, orange, and watermelon. But it's not that common. Someone's clearly trying to copy him. When the comments turned, people who had been hesitant instantly understood. The truth was out. Zhang Yida and I were finally being compared. Is Zhang Yida a fraud? It seems so. He's clearly had plastic surgery. He probably got it to look like the guy in that photo. That's shameless! Jang Yida's face went from pale to flushed as he heard the ridicule. He desperately tried to leave. Ruyan, you've known me for so long. You know I would never do something like that. I know Matchless didn't mean to do this. It's probably just a coincidence. But Liu Ruyan pulled her arm away and looked only at me. Why? Why did you make your character ugly in the game? She desperately wanted an answer, but I was done. I'm sorry, I came to the wrong place. I don't want to disturb you, I said, trying to leave. But then the door opened again. A tall, elegant figure walked in. His face was as sculpted as a statue, but his eyes were indifferent. It was Snow Dangling from the Cold River. I'm here, he said. He looked exactly like his game character, but he was wearing modern clothes. He nodded and held out his hand to apologize. I didn't get the message that the restaurant canceled the reservation. Let's go. I'll take you somewhere else. I was about to leave, but another hand grabbed mine. Matchless, listen to me. I didn't know that photo was you. Her voice was shaky and desperate, as if she was afraid I would leave. I love you. It's always been you. I've loved you for 6 years. I cut her off and took a step back. My voice was cold. Liu Ruyan, let go. We have nothing to do with each other anymore. The words hung in the air. Liu Ruyan froze and the room went silent. She let go of my hand and I rubbed my sore wrist. I turned to leave, but someone shouted, Wait! Don't go! Are you really matchless in a chaotic world? Did you hire a ridiculously handsome guy to get back at everyone? Why else would you look so different in the game? This sparked a new wave of rumors. Yeah, maybe Matchless is just trying to ruin the proposal. But where would he find a guy this handsome? It's possible. We've been calling him ugly for 3 years. Why would he only come out now? I had heard these rumors too many times. They no longer hurt. I didn't feel like explaining. The Snow Dangling from the Cold River next to me stopped, however. He turned and looked at the crowd. His eyes were like ice. When everyone was quiet, he said coldly, I don't want to, and pulled me away. His words echoed in the restaurant and on the live stream. The comments went wild. That was so cool. He sang, Ruyan is blind and can't tell the difference, isn't he? And he's right. Can you really compare Yida and Matchless? Don't let Ruyan throw away the watermelon for the sesame seed. The commotion continued, but I had already left the restaurant with Snow Dangling from the Cold River. A black Maybach was parked on the street. He opened the door for me. My mistake, let's go. I'll take you to another restaurant. I was about to refuse, but I swallowed my words. I took out my drawing and unrolled it. Snow Dangling from the Cold River, this is the drawing I made for you. I hope you like it. She took it, and her tightly furrowed brows relaxed. She cleared her throat. I'm Shen Yuchu. It was true that game names were fine in a game, but in real life calling or being called by them was awkward. I'm Lu Xiaobu, I said with an awkward smile, getting into the passenger seat. The new restaurant Shen Yuchu chose was a private one by the river. The food was surprisingly good. I had assumed this kind of restaurant was all flash and no substance. Shen Yuchu was busy, typing on her phone without looking up, but she listened to every word I said. This is my friend's restaurant. It's not open to the public, so they focus on quality. In other words, it was expensive. I felt a little guilty. You've gone to a lot of trouble. I was the one who was supposed to thank you. Let me pay for this meal. Shen Yuchu shook her head. No need. If you really want to thank me, help me get this. She pushed her phone toward me. On the screen was a poster for the Dreams of the Jianghu Annual Duos Tournament. The prize section was circled in red. I want this divine tier weapon. As for the appearance-altering pill, you can have it. The appearance-altering pill allows a player to change their appearance once. I refused. I'll compete with you, but I don't need the pill. Changing my demon sword look doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care what others think. Shen Yuchu tapped her finger on the table and smiled. Suit yourself. After dinner, Shen Yuchu drove me home. I'll handle the online backlash and Zhang Yida's slanders. Remember to log in, I'll help you grind. With that, she drove away. I went home and checked the game forums. They had already exploded. Lord Ruyan Zida, the most dramatic proposal in history, matchless in a chaotic world, is the real heartthrob. Yida is a fake. I clicked on the post and saw a recording of the proposal. Someone had taken screenshots and put my makeup-free face next to Zhang Yida's picture-perfect one. The comments were all on my side. Matchless in a chaotic world, wins completely. He didn't even put on makeup and he won so thoroughly. Real handsome guys don't need makeup. In comparison, Yida looks like he's trying too hard. He's like a poor person who suddenly gets rich and uses everything he can to make himself look handsome. I've been wanting to say this for a long time. Yida isn't that good looking. I thought he had just gotten ugly over the past 6 years, but it turns out he was a fake all along. How shameless. As he read the insults, Zhang Yida's hands were trembling as he clutched his phone. That bastard is just taking advantage of his looks to steal what's mine, he said with undisguised malice in his eyes. Matchless in a chaotic world, you better watch out. I'll make you pay for everything you've taken. I'll make it so you can't even play the game. I saw a friend request from Yida. I froze, and a monster charged at me, but snow dangling from the cold river killed it in one hit. What's wrong? Why are you distracted in a dungeon? Because of all the times I was killed, my level had dropped significantly. Now that I was going to participate in a tournament, I had to practice more. I looked at the friend request and was silent for a moment. Nothing, just a bit of lag. I then dragged Yida's name into my blacklist. After we finished the dungeon, I leveled up twice, but I was still far from my previous level. Let's play again tomorrow. Get some rest. With that, Shen Yuchu logged off. I left the dungeon, planning to go to town and craft some new things. But the moment I stepped out, a white barrier appeared in front of me. I looked down and saw a huge glowing array at my feet. My vision blurred, and when I opened my eyes, I was in another place, facing a very familiar person. Lord Ruyan. My face instantly went cold. A wealthy boss like you is still holding my compensation? The spell I just saw was a one-time item in the game, a 9,000 gold piece item that could forcibly teleport another player to you. Lord Ruyan's eyes darkened. You don't want to see me that much? I remained calm. I just don't understand why you have to go to so much trouble to find me. We have nothing to do with each other anymore. My tone was flat, but for some reason, Lord Ruyan's eyes widened. She grabbed my hand and pushed me against a wall. The distance between us was too close. We had never been this close in our 3 years as a couple. Her eyes were filled with repressed emotion, and her voice trembled. Xiaobu, you and her are working so well together in the dungeon. How long have you known each other? Have you been playing together a lot before we broke up? Only then did I realize that my combat log was on. She could easily see my fighting process. Just because we were a good team, she was suspicious that I had known. Snow dangling from the cold river for a long time. Matchless in a chaotic world, did you cheat on me? I laughed at her accusation. Lord Ruyan, I didn't. You're the one who said that our relationship meant nothing, that we were just normal game friends. How can you talk about betrayal and cheating when we were just game friends? I threw her own words back at her. I pushed her away and turned to leave. Then, her voice suddenly softened. What if I said I've always liked you and I've always been looking for you? What if all of that was just a misunderstanding? Would you come back to me? Silence. I didn't answer. I just looked at her. Lord Ruyan, the #1 warrior, the most popular and most followed female player on the forums, with wealth beyond anyone's imagination, and a face that was more beautiful than any beauty filter. A person like that should be adored by everyone. But for some reason, looking at her, my heart felt nothing. Not even when I walked into her proposal and saw her kneeling in front of another man did I feel sad. The evening breeze blew for a long time. It was the 15th of the month in the game, and the moon was especially full. I suddenly remembered 3 years ago, when we spent our first Mid-Autumn Festival in the game. We had just met. I logged in by myself and saw the empty game interface. Lord Ruyan's avatar was online. I was curious and joined her team. It's the Mid-Autumn Festival. Are you going to play games? Are you with your family? No. She killed a monster without even looking at me. My parents are abroad. They don't check up on me. As she said this, her face was still spattered with monster blood. Her eyes were cold and full of resolve, but her voice was like that of a stubborn child. I was a little stunned and changed the subject. Sorry, my parents passed away a few years ago. I'm all alone too. Let's play together. I cast a healing spell on her. The green light landed on her, and her health bar, which had been depleted, instantly filled up. She didn't say anything, but she didn't refuse either. A bit of the coldness in her eyes disappeared. Okay, spring went, and autumn came. Time in the game was twice as fast as in real life. We had spent 6 years together in the game, but now all that was left was a sad story. Ruyan, I used to think I was different to you, but you yourself told me the truth and cheated on me with another man, shattering my fantasy. You never liked me. I do like you, Lord Ruyan interrupted, her voice resolute. I've treasured your photo for 6 years. I've always liked you, no one else. I became your love in the game because I liked you. Why else would I have been with you despite all the things people said online? Can't you see how much I cared for you in those 3 years? Her voice was almost trembling, but I just looked at her silently. After a long time, when her emotions had settled, I spoke. What if I wasn't the person you'd liked for 6 years? She looked stunned. What are you talking about? I spoke calmly. What if I was really ugly and not the person you liked? Would you still have come back for me? She stared at me, her eyes full of complex emotions. She didn't say anything. I was right. If I was just a normal person, she wouldn't have even looked at me. But we loved each other, didn't we? I looked at her, my voice devoid of any emotion. But the words were heavy. You loved me, and I loved you. But we never loved each other. Even if it was a mistake or a misunderstanding, it was a sign we were never meant to be. I'll never love you again. I turned and left, leaving her standing there. She stared at the empty space in front of her. The words that had landed in her heart like thunder seemed to have dissipated in the wind. The figure of, matchless in a chaotic world, vanished, leaving only specks of starlight. Lord Ruyan reached out and tried to grasp one, but they all slipped through her fingers. She looked at the stars floating away, and suddenly felt powerless, as if she had lost something precious and genuine. To level up faster, Shen Yuchu suggested I stream my game. The game had a rule. If a stream had over 1,000 viewers, your experience would increase by 10%, and so on. It would make leveling up much faster. I was hesitant. Will anyone watch? Even though the online hate had quieted down, I hadn't clarified the issue with the drawings. I was afraid people would hate me if I started streaming. Shen Yuchu didn't say much, just 2 simple words. Don't be afraid. Her words were like a strong dose of confidence. Suddenly, all the online rumors didn't seem to matter. Okay, that night I created a new account. I hesitated for a moment and typed, matchless in a chaotic world. Shen Yuchu asked, aren't you going to reclaim your online name? I was surprised and realized she was talking about my old name, Yida. I shook my head. Quote, no, that name I came up with on a whim doesn't belong to me anymore. I created the account, connected to the game, and started the stream without any warm-up. I had just killed a monster when I looked up and saw tens of thousands of people in my stream. Go, Heartthrob. He's a support player and he's so good. Even with the helmet's terrible lighting, he's so handsome. I just came across this and thought he was wearing a fake head. I never insulted, matchless in a chaotic world. I hope I look like him in my next life. Thank you, everyone, I said with a smile. There were so many rumors online and people were easily misled. I didn't want to hold it against them. My smile made the chat explode. Did he just smile at me? My life is complete. He's so handsome. A single smile can make 1,000 flowers bloom. I'm taking a screenshot for my profile picture. Among the praises, I saw a comment, why is he working so hard? A support player doesn't have to grind so much. I smiled and replied, because I need to be stronger for the tournament. The list for the duos tournament had been released last night. Besides me and Shen Yuchu, Liu Ruyan and her, Yida, were also on the list. Everyone was excited to see our 2 teams face off. The comments were full of anticipation. Then, I heard Shen Yuchu say quietly, if you hadn't been killed so many times before and lost so much experience, you wouldn't have to start from scratch now. The chat went silent for a moment before filling with, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry, my love, I'm so sorry. I killed you for 500 gold. I'll send you gifts now. I'm so sorry, Matchless. He went through so much alone before. It's good that he has snow dangling from the cold river to back him up now. Doesn't what he just said sound so cool? They have a domineering lover vibe. I'm shipping them. While the chat was going crazy, I didn't see the corner of Shen Yuchu's mouth curve into a small smile as she killed a monster. After the stream, I said goodbye to everyone and logged off. Shen Yuchu and I left the dungeon, but my screen froze. I was about to say something when a letter flew toward me. It was a mail from the game, but unlike a regular mail or private message, this one was a physical object, a letter with a dove. It meant that someone had sent something to me. I opened it and saw some experience points and 2 decent items. Sorry, I was part of the siege against you. I'm giving you back the items now. I was about to say something, but then I looked up and saw tens of thousands of letters flying toward me. The sky was half filled with letters, like the Hogwarts acceptance letters in Harry Potter. Every letter was full of experience points and an apology. Seeing the sincere apologies, my eyes watered. Most people were kind. It was just a misunderstanding caused by a few bad people. After accepting all the experience points, my level skyrocketed. I instantly returned to second place on the support player leaderboard. The first place was still Yida, but I was close. Shen Yuchu looked at the leaderboard and said, "We'll be there soon." Then she changed the subject. "Get some rest. I'll log off." She logged off in a hurry. I sighed. She was always like this, coming and going in a rush, treating playing with me like a task rather than a game. I thought that maybe in her eyes, I was just a partner, not a friend. I rubbed my eyes and logged off. I looked at my phone and saw a message from Liu Rian. "I've returned the breach of contract fee you gave me, and you don't have to return the advance payment. I'll handle the online situation. The project is over." I saw a transfer record in my bank account. I replied, "I won't be taking any commissions, but I know some good artists. Do you want me to recommend them to you? The game is very well made, and it would be a shame to abandon it." The phone showed typing for a long time before she sent 2 words. "No need." I wasn't making it for money anyway. I didn't reply. I knew what she meant. She was still caught up in all the misunderstandings, but what was the point of talking about it now? I stretched and looked outside. It was already dark. These past few years I had stayed home and painted, so my sleeping schedule was all messed up. I went to a convenience store to buy some water and instant food. I then saw a poster for a movie by my favorite manga artist. I had been so busy that I had forgotten about it. It was still early, so I took a cab to the movie theater without hesitation. It was late when I came out. I immediately felt someone following me. I had a bad feeling and quickened my pace, but the person behind me kept up. The faster I walked, the closer they got. "Where are you going, handsome? Come and play with an old man." The person was drunk, and his eyes were full of malice and lust. "Go away," I said coldly. "I don't know you." He stepped closer. "You're dressed up so nicely late at night. You're trying to pick someone up, aren't you? It's not like I won't pay." Slap. B. Before he could finish, I slapped him hard. The force was enough to send him crashing to the ground. My palm was red and stinging. "You bastard," I said, my voice trembling with anger. When I was in school, I was harassed by an ill-intentioned teacher because of my looks. When I started working, it only got worse. In 6 months, I had 3 jobs, all because of workplace harassment. The last time, my boss's husband even came to the office to catch his wife with me. "My face isn't an excuse for your wrongdoing. Get out of my face," I said, trying to leave. But he got up, clearly enraged. "You little punk. You're playing hard to get, huh? I'll kill you." I closed my eyes, ready to fight, but I heard a loud voice. "Don't touch him." The voice was familiar, yet unfamiliar. I opened my eyes and saw someone standing in front of me. It was effortless to tie the drunkard's hands behind his back. "2 from the crime squad, come with me." Seeing those sharp eyebrows and eyes, I finally realized it was you, the police officer who brought me back from the police station that day. The moment I saw the police, my pounding heart instantly calmed down. I sighed in relief and followed the woman to take the drunkard into the police station. After giving my statement, I came out and saw the woman still waiting for me in the reception area. The on-duty policeman smiled at me. "Handsome, you're out. Our captain has been waiting for you. This is the 2nd time you've saved the damsel in distress. Quite a fate, huh?" It was a harmless joke. I was about to speak when the woman coldly reprimanded, "Wearing a police uniform, be serious. You represent the image of the police." The person instantly shut up, smiled apologetically, and sat aside. I quickly waved my hand. "It's okay." Then I said to the woman, "Thank you, officer." The woman raised her eyebrows slightly and cleared her throat. "It's getting late. Let me take you back." If it were somewhere else, I would definitely be more cautious, but facing the people's police, I had no worries. "Thank you for your trouble." Once again, I sat in the passenger seat of that Land Rover. I was a little tired and sighed. The woman started the car in silence for a while, then suddenly said, "Next time you encounter such a drunken lunatic, don't confront him head-on. You'll be at a disadvantage." I was stunned and lowered my eyes. I knew, but I felt inexplicably wronged. It clearly wasn't my fault, so why was I the one who had to constantly endure and back down? Under the cover of night, the suppressed grievance magnified. I was about to retort when I heard the woman say again, "Actually, you have the right to dress handsomely. It's not your fault if you encounter such a thing, but I hope you can think about yourself. Criminals will be brought to justice, which is their due, but there's no need for you to get hurt." The low, pleasant voice echoed in the car. I was stunned, then suddenly felt a warmth in my heart. "Thank you," I said sincerely. "Can I know your name? After all, I've troubled you twice. I'm a bit embarrassed to go send a thank you banner without even knowing your name." Chen Li, captain of the Criminal Investigation Team 1. Downstairs at my home, I thanked Chen Li again. Just as I was about to go upstairs, I found that the elevator wasn't working at all. Only then did I regretfully remember that the property management had sent a message saying that the electrical box would be under maintenance in the early hours of the morning. Looking at the pitch-black stairwell, I felt a little scared. Chen Li's voice came from behind, "I'll take you up." I breathed a sigh of relief and thanked her, but then felt a little guilty. "I'm really sorry. I'll go to the police station to send you a thank you banner. My father used to be a policeman too. Before he passed away, he always talked about thank you banners. It seems thank you banners people sent were more impressive than verbal praise or thanks. Remembering my father, the wound in my heart that had already scabbed over was instantly torn open, and a sour pain overflowed. Who would have thought that my father, who had brushed shoulders with death countless times in his life, would eventually drown while saving someone? And the boy who had slipped couldn't be saved either, swept away by the rapid torrent to the door. "Goodbye, thank you, Officer Chen. I'm home now. Let me pour you a glass of water." Chen Li paused, the curve of her lips tightening into a straight line. "No need," she said, looking up at my eyes and asking, "What's your name?" Quote, "Lu Xiaobu." I replied truthfully. Chen Li repeated the 3 words, her eyes darkening slightly, pretending to be silly but saying nothing, then turned and left. I returned home. As soon as I logged onto the game forum, I saw that I was trending again. Matchless in a chaotic world, suspected of being a man-made beauty, hooking up with sugar daddies, cheating on multiple partners. Several explosive pieces of news were thrown together, and it instantly blew up. Clicking in, I saw several secretly taken photos. Besides me, the other people in the photos were Liu Ruyan, Shen Yuchu, and even Chen Li. An anonymous leaker said, "Submission. The so-called #1 handsome guy, matchless in a chaotic world, is not only involved with 2 game gods, but also has a relationship with a strange woman in real life. Look at this car, it's quite expensive. Indeed, handsome guys have it easy." Then the person changed the subject. "But it's not just handsome guys, privilege. As long as you have plastic surgery, everyone can meet the criteria. After all, matchless in a chaotic world's face isn't all natural." The plastic surgery hospital he went to is my friend's hospital. We've already fallen out, so I won't recommend it or advertise it. I just can't stand him marketing himself as all natural. The person even posted several pictures as evidence, which were screenshots of my live stream. A shadow below my nose was circled. Isn't this the scar left by plastic surgery? It's not that plastic surgery is bad, it's just hard to do. It's really unbearable to see him use all natural as a gimmick for his live stream and make money. Sure enough, some people in the comments believed it. I knew it! How could someone be so perfect? Maybe he was molded by plastic surgery. Is it possible that in these 3 years he's been using Lord Ruyan's money to slowly get plastic surgery? Otherwise, why hasn't he ever come out to prove himself in all these years? If I had always been this handsome, I would definitely claim my innocence. But besides the doubts, I also surprisingly saw some comments defending me. Why be so malicious in speculating about someone? Isn't one online mob enough? I think he looks very handsome, even if he had plastic surgery. Ordinary people can't even afford to get it done like that. Someone can be a gossip monger with just a few photos and remain anonymous. Don't be so fake. Looking at these comments mixed in with a lot of malicious ones, a warmth filled my heart. Just as I was about to post a reply, the entire thread disappeared. While I was wondering what was going on, I received a message from Shen Yuchu. "Shen Yuchu, "Did you see the trending topic on the forum?" I replied, "Saw it. It's not me." Before the few words I typed could be sent, a long string of messages came from the other side. "Don't worry about it. The grand final of this game's duo tournament will be live streamed. Players will cosplay their characters. Everything will be clear then. Don't worry about anything else." Looking at the green text filling the screen, I was surprised. This was the most I had ever seen Shen Yuchu say. While I was still in a daze, a third message came. "Do you have time? Let's go online for a round." And so I went online in a daze. Snow dangling from the cold river quickly started the party. During the team dungeon run, she was silent the whole time. Usually, when we ran dungeons, besides reminding me of monsters, she didn't say much else. But today's silence was particularly strange, making me feel uneasy. I awkwardly tried to make conversation. "Have you seen director Miyazaki's new movie? I went to see it today. It was pretty good." Snow dangling from the cold river paused, then asked inexplicably, "Did you watch it with that person you were with today?" I was stunned. Only then did I remember that Snow dangling from the cold river must have seen the forum post and misunderstood something. I explained, "I went to see it alone. On my way back, I encountered a hooligan and went to the police station. The police officer brought me back." Snow dangling from the cold river replied emotionlessly, staring at the approaching monster. For some reason, the awkward atmosphere instantly dissipated. A few days later, the annual duo tournament for Dreams of the Jianghu officially began. During that time, the most talked about teams were Snow dangling from the cold river and Matchless in a Chaotic World, and Lord Ruyin and her Yida. Because both teams had high combat power, they automatically advanced to the semifinals and didn't need to participate in the first 2 days. However, the forum still pushed the topic of these few people to the top of the list. I'm really curious. The organizers must have seen the popularity and even thought of doing a live stream of the players cosplaying their characters. Wouldn't that make it clear who used a beauty filter and who didn't? The live stream of the proposal had a filter, so it doesn't count. Let's see what it's really like under the official cameras. Looking at the various opinions in the comments, I exited the forum and focused my energy on watching the tournament live streams. I was watching someone else's match while Snow dangling from the cold river was fishing with a bamboo hat on the side, occasionally glancing over. Watching this level is meaningless. Come help me fish. As a former life skill player, my fishing skill was already maxed out. The probability of getting fish and treasure chests was much higher than Snow dangling from the cold rivers. Now, in her eyes, I was already a master fisherman. I reached for the fishing rod, and the next second, a golden koi carp was hooked. Just by looking at its quality and color, it was top-notch. I didn't even take my eyes off the live stream. I still wanted to watch. Finally, the semifinals arrived, live-streamed offline under the spotlight. The competition venue was in Hainan. I carried my suitcase downstairs and saw an unexpected person. "Officer Chen, long time no see. What are you doing here?" Chen Li was wearing a black shirt, which didn't make her look weak at all, but instead gave her a unique charisma. She looked a little surprised and explained simply, "Official business." Then Chen Li's eyes fell on the suitcase. "Are you going out?" "Yeah, something came up," I said, bidding farewell. "I'm leaving. Goodbye, Officer Chen." Dragging my suitcase, I saw Shen Yuchu waiting by the roadside after walking a few steps. She leaned against the car, raised her eyebrows slightly, and her tone was a bit sarcastic. "So that's the helpful police comrade?" "Yeah," I said with a wry smile. "It's not the first time I've gone to the police station because of harassment." Shen Yuchu was silent for a moment, then her tone suddenly became serious. "There are a lot of hooligans in this area. Why don't you move?" I shook my head. "It's not just this area. There are many everywhere. I've even changed jobs several times because of harassment. So I'm actually quite scared, afraid of people seeing my face. That's why I hide myself when I go out and lower my game appearance to minus 100%. After saying this, I laughed, self-deprecatingly. Isn't it ridiculous? I can't even handle something like this. Shen Yuchu didn't say anything. "Let's go to the airport." After a few hours on the plane, we finally landed. The two of us were picked up by the program's special car and taken to the recording venue. Men and women changed and did their makeup separately. Following the staff's guidance, I arrived at the door of the men's dressing room and saw an uninvited guest. Zhang Yida was already made up and dressed up, looking decent, but still not quite like the demon sword in the game. He blocked me at the door, his eyes full of undisguised malice. "Here's some money. Ida said arrogantly, throwing a stack of bills on the ground. Liu Xiaobu, you should have realized that Ruyan liked me even before we broke up. Take this money and quit the live stream, otherwise I'll make you regret it. Seeing his provocation, I didn't say anything, just silently picked up the bills one by one. A disdainful look flashed in Zhang Yida's eyes, as expected of a poor wretch so spineless. I quietly walked to the side and put down the neatly stacked bills. I'm not accepting it. It's just that every penny should be cherished. If you don't want it, just leave it on the table for whoever does. As for a reply, I picked up a bottle of mineral water on the table and poured it over Zhang Yida's head. That was my answer. A bottle of mineral water poured from head to toe instantly ruined Zhang Yida's delicate makeup. His hairstyle collapsed from the water pressure, and dirty water mixed with various colors ran down his face, making him look extremely disheveled. He screamed, Liu Xiaobu, are you crazy? I looked at him coldly. This is just a little reminder. Just because I don't want to be angry with you doesn't mean I'll never be angry. Zhang Yida's face suddenly twisted with anger. He wanted to say something, but knowing that he had to go on stage soon and didn't have time to waste, he could only turn his head to get his makeup fixed. Liu Xiaobu, you wait and see. I won't let you get away with this, Zhang Yida said fiercely before leaving in a huff. I stood there and sighed deeply. I really didn't want to have any more involvement with people or things from the past. Sitting down at the makeup table, the makeup artist was stunned. The production team clearly valued this event, and everything from the styling to the costumes was the best. But even a seasoned makeup artist who had worked with countless stars and models couldn't help but be taken aback the moment they saw me. I was like a piece of jade, a piece of clear ice, a mystery that seemed to exist only in dreams. He suddenly felt that those wildly popular female celebrities were nothing more than that. Coming back to his senses, the makeup artist muttered to himself, "So handsome," and his movements became even more careful, as if he were maintaining a beautiful work of art. My makeup was simple, mainly because my in-game beauty was set so low that it was practically non-existent. But the makeup artist, driven by professional habit, still didn't want to miss such a good opportunity. Halfway through the makeup, I suddenly felt a shadow fall over me. I gently opened my eyes and saw a familiar person standing in front of me, Liu Ruyan. My originally decent mood instantly plummeted. "What's the matter?" I asked coldly. Liu Ruyan looked at me, her tone a bit emotional and trembling. "Liu Xiaobu, do you know why I'm here?" I didn't answer. I didn't know why Liu Ruyan, who was so highly valued, would bother to spend time on such a seemingly trivial activity. But even though I didn't understand, I didn't want to delve deeper. Her coming or not coming had nothing to do with me. But seeing that the person in front of me didn't give up, I still asked, "Is it because I just poured water on your fiancé?" The word fiancé was like a poisoned blade, stabbing Liu Ruyan's heart. She immediately retorted, "He's not my fiancé. I don't love him." Losing the previous restraint, her tone suddenly softened, her hands clenched tightly and then suddenly relaxed at her sides. "Liu Xiaobu, I'm here for you. I know I made many mistakes before, and I've realized these past few days that I've already fallen in love with the real you. I remember you healing me in dungeons, giving me support in the duo tournament, and whenever I see new couple outfits, Liu Xiaobu is the first person I think of. It's not some online heartthrob, not the #1 handsome guy that I like. It's you. Are you willing to give me another chance?" What followed was a long silence. Liu Ruyan's heart almost stopped beating. Pretending to be foolish, I finally spoke. "Liu Ruyan, actually, I'm here for you too." It was like the clouds parting to reveal the sun. "Really?" Liu Ruyan asked, both surprised and delighted. But then I added the second half of the sentence, "to truly defeat you." The moment the words fell, the room fell into a deathly silence. Liu Ruyan stared blankly at the boy in front of him, lightly made up, but incredibly handsome. At first glance, he was as delicate as a pure white rose, but his eyes revealed a stubbornness, like thorny roots beneath tender petals. So unfamiliar. Liu Ruyan realized that in their 3 years of being together, she had never truly seen the person in front of her. Before she could speak, I gave the order. "Zhu Keling, I need to change clothes. Miss Liu, are you going to keep lingering in the men's dressing room?" Helpless, she could only leave step by step, turning her head to look at the dressing room door. I was inside, and she was outside. The door wasn't locked. A gentle twist would open it. But for some reason, Liu Ruyan suddenly felt like she couldn't push it open no matter what. Soon, after all the guests had finished their styling, the live stream officially began. The first day's stream was a warm-up. Guests just needed to cosplay their characters and make an appearance. For the effect, the production team had even made giant posters of each guest's character and placed them behind them, creating a stark contrast. The most obvious was Matchless in a Chaotic World, who looked terrifying among all the beautiful and stunning characters. But the comments were overwhelmingly enthusiastic. "Here they come! We'll know soon enough!" The production team is so mean, putting Matchless in a Chaotic World and Yorida together. This comparison will show who's ugly and who's finished. After the warm-up was almost done, the host picked up the microphone. "Welcome, esteemed adventurers, to the grand final live stream of the Dreams of the Jianghu annual duo tournament. I know everyone is impatient, so without further ado, let's welcome all the participating adventurers to meet everyone." As the host announced, the contestants walked out one by one. The in-game character faces couldn't be changed, but the body shape could indeed be randomly selected, so the guests who appeared in the first half had some discrepancies. Wearing cosplay outfits and standing in front of their character posters, there were some differences. Ha ha ha! Who would have thought the #1 warrior, Baldy, weighs over 200 pounds? And the tank with such a thick health bar is so frail in real life. Can I say it? It feels like he could be knocked down with one punch. I feel like he'd be hung in the bathroom if he were at a comic convention. First time seeing someone cosplay themselves and still do OC, ha ha ha. Amidst the drowning laughter, there was some restraint, only when Lord Ruyanan and Snow Dangling from the Cold River appeared. Holy crap, isn't that exactly like Demon Sword? Her figure is so good too. God, Han Jiang must be 6'3". This is what a person who walks out of the game looks like. As everyone chatted, it came to the main event. Next, let's welcome the #1 beauty in the game, the #1 support mage, Yorida. As the lights shone, Yorida walked out. It was clear that although it was a second styling, Zhang Yida had done it very carefully, not missing any detail to make himself look beautiful. But the comments were still not satisfactory. "Why is it like this? It doesn't feel very good looking." The proposal livestream had a filter, but without it this time it feels even more ordinary. "So this is the #1 handsome guy?" As expected, amateurs can't stand the big screen. The comments kept scrolling across the big screen. Seeing these comments, Zhang Yida almost gritted his teeth but still forced a smile. Fortunately, he had just bribed someone to sabotage things before I went on stage. This time, he was determined to make me look bad. The host announced, "Next, let's welcome the last contestant, Matchless in a Chaotic World." Zhang Yida thought triumphantly, and saw a figure already walking out from under the spotlight. The light was blinding, and he couldn't see her face, but he saw the full screen of comments instantly freeze, then erupt like a volcano. Holy crap, so beautiful! Is this a god descending to Earth? My god, I was just stunned! How can she look even better than with the filter last time? This is too cruel. As expected, beautiful girls don't need any retouching. Not only the brown outfit, but also the little details. She's amazing! Looking at the completely different appearance from what he had imagined, Zhang Yida stared in disbelief. How could this be? He had clearly asked someone to pour red paint on her. She should have looked disheveled, but why was the reaction like this? But as she walked closer, he saw clearly. The program team had dressed her character in a couple's outfit from the game, a white suit. Set off by the suit, she looked like a deity descending to the mortal world. And the so-called red paint had indeed splattered, but it had backfired and landed on the suit, like red plums blossoming on snow, or like bloodstains on a pure white flower. Even the red paint on her face, set off by her stunning looks, seemed like intentionally done injury makeup. The makeup and outfit complemented each other perfectly. Because of the red paint, it lost its original pure white holiness, and instead had a sense of decadent beauty. The comments almost went crazy. "This is battle-damaged makeup. What a creative idea. This is the real deal. Everyone else is dressed like they're otherworldly, but Matchless in a Chaotic World has the right feel. Who understands? I know it's battle-damaged makeup, but looking at that face, I still feel sorry for her." Remembering the previous siege by thousands of people, I feel so guilty. Jang Ida almost ground his teeth to dust, but he could only watch as she walked slowly to the front of the stage, smiled at the camera, and said, "Hello everyone, I'm matchless in a chaotic world." With one sentence, the comments erupted into another frenzy. The goddess spoke to me. The goddess smiled at me. My life is complete. Who cares? Even with a makeup like that, who cares about plastic surgery? If she wants my heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys, I'm willing.